welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the WardiTV Monday number 57, your weekly dose of WardiTV StarCraft. I'm Coach VIP, with you enjoyed by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. We just wrapped up last night, of course, with the CranKy Gathers lower bracket finals. Now we are here with a catch-up stream of the WardiTV Monday. Here we go. Again, last week, unfortunately, we did miss out on both WardiTV Monday and on Pickerstar Cup as well. So this week, our plan is to catch up on those matches. It's a catch up on those replays. As a heads up, as a reminder, this is going to be a replay cast, not a live broadcast, as of course these events did occur last week and last night's WardiTV Monday we'll be catching up on in a couple of days as well. So we'll be catching up on those weeklies on those open cups. Otherwise, we're here to jump in. Hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. I hope everyone's had a great holiday and Halloween, I should say, as Halloween I think was over the weekend, maybe. Yeah, hope you guys had some great time. Bienvenidos, I see Slow Jones had Serious Black as well. Bienvenidos. Lady even. Bienvenidos. As we have our initial matchup, our initial PVZ, jumping into herO versus Solar. Again, for those who may be unaware, just because this is we're casting this at a different time slot and time zone, this is a weekly open tournament that Wardy has been hosting for quite some time now, since the start of since the off season last year, essentially. And this is typically at a more European / Korean friendly time slot when it comes to its start time, and likewise a weekly tournament on Mondays, hence the name. Not always on Mondays, sometimes it is on Fridays, sometimes it's on Thursdays, depending on when Wardy is available. Otherwise, sometimes does switch to a different day, but otherwise we are jumping into our first series. We're jumping into the quarterfinals of this tournament. Now the goal for tonight's broadcast, we're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals, then the semis, then the grand finals thereafter. Four matches in total, and here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. As we jump into our initial PVZ, and we'll see how Solar will approach this. Welcome to Pylon. Pylon is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Aggression is favored, and Solar, he almost exclusively does go for all-ins in ZVP. It is his go-to, so we expect Solar to cut workers at some point. Expect him to commit across the map. It's going to be up to herO to survive and to defend. Now, what I will say is that on this map, it is more difficult to be the defensive player. The rush distance by ground is short. The third and fourth bases are much more open and much more exposed. So aggression can be or is favored here when it comes to breaking these positions, and it goes both ways. I should say that as well, where herO can also opt to be the aggressor as well. He doesn't have to be stuck at home trying to defend, trying to turtle on up. He can instead be in the face of Solar, and we'll see if that's what he opts to do. I mean, it's herO, so I'm assuming so. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, Solar force take the unnatural natural, so a bit of a more awkward setup here from Solar as we do settle into our game. So we are settling in. From here we have initial opener out of herO. And I also appreciate that Solar, he's one of the more active players when it comes to the open cups as well. Players like Solar, Rogue as well. Shin, he's a little bit more sporadic with when he signs up, when he shows up as well. But Solar, Rogue, these are players we expect to see on a regular basis in these open cups. They do what they can. They do what they can. When it comes to open cup coverage, we always jump on the Zerg player whenever we can, just so we can cover them while we can before we get into all the PvPs and PvTs. We'll get there. We'll get there, I'm sure. As of now, have our initial opener. Stargate is our take of choice from herO, which is to be expected against Stargate opener into a third base. What I'm really looking for, though, is the timing of the Twilight Council. We'll see if we throw it down at a more standard time or if we throw it down earlier. If it gets thrown down earlier without a forge, then it would be indicative of Glaive Adepts. We could even go for a +1 in charge as a bit of a cheeky build to try to catch Solar off guard. There are different possibilities here depending on the Twilight Council timing. Otherwise, it would be just be Stargate into Oracle into a third base. Then by the time it's around halfway done, then you can get your +1 Forge and Blink. So now we're just journeying, calming down. The first adept gets across the map, takes 2 shots to kill a drone. So far, it's turned away. When it comes to PvZ in general, in the latest patch, it has changed the least out of... Would I say changed the least out of all the matchups? I think so, actually. I mean, you can make an argument for TVT, I guess. I mean... but it hasn't really changed too much when it comes to its overall strategy. Obviously, there are little minute details that have changed. The big one, of course, being the Baneling. So the Baneling, because of its extra HP and because of the change of the Storm, Banelings can survive ticks and can actually be more effective aggressively across the map. Likewise, I would say the Storm is a much more powerful zoning tool than it once was. So Storm is, of course, going to be impacting this. The Baneling change as well. Spire, the change to the Spire does mean that Mutaplay is more accessible now, and more an option, especially on larger maps, less so on smaller ones. As 2 eggs get shut down. Nice pickups here out of herO. So it does knight 2 of those drones at the same time, getting his third base up and running, and we're waiting for said tech of choice. Second Oracle does hit the natural, no Spore. A quick morph in there, quick save out of Solar, nicely done. And you can see here the third base is halfway done. We have the Twilight Council, we have the Forge, we have +1 and Blink on the horizon. Looks like there was a bit of a pause, and hopefully everything is okay. So we do bring it back. Solar, he's playing it safe, getting a Roach Warren. Often you do skip this, but as you can see, no Evo Chamber. So Solar, he's not going Ling Hydra, he's going into Roaches, and we could commit into something more sinister here. We'll keep an eye on the drone count. He should be getting a 4th base, at least just for Larva. But no Evo Chambers, no upgrades. That means there's a high chance that when this layer finishes, we start Overlord Speed, we start Drop Lords, and we can commit. I mean, I would say that by now we'd already have Overlord Speed on the way, though. Still building up, still droning. +1 and charge on the way. Interesting, not Blink. Now, with a charge-based opener like this, the goal, the hope, is that you're able to catch your opponent with their pants down without any Roaches. Unfortunately for herO, Solar did open up Roach, so he should have defensive Roaches to deal with said charge lots. If it was purely Ling Hydra, then Solar would be in trouble. I mean, he still kind of is, because I don't see any Roaches. Evo Chambers on the way. No trouble going Spire. Roach Speed. Is taking extra gases. Okay, Roach is now massive. Okay, Roaches are building up. Lings, they confirm charge. He sees all these Zealots, so I mean, I'm sure that's prompting the Roach production. Again, you would not be warping in Zealots at this stage of the game unless you did open charge. So Solar, he's fully aware. Double Robo. Okay. Double Robo on the way. herO, he did scout the Roach Warren, he knows. He knows the Roaches are building up and getting into double Immortal production. And again, a much different approach here from herO. But as I mentioned before, like, aggression is favored and herO is taking a very different approach. Shadow appreciate. Solar, he's going to be cutting workers here at 67. Roaches are amassing. We have +1 range on the way. We have Roach Speed on the way. And I believe Solar's just going to commit. 10 more Roaches. And if he can strike before the Immortals come online, then he can pull this off. But he's on a timer. Here we go. Queens are walking. At the same time, herO also moving out. He gets spotted. Here he gets spotted. Solar, he pulls away. And again, you can see that Solar, he has not made a drone in quite some time. He's just purely making Roach Ravager. And Solar, he can take this fight. But we mentioned this before, and this is really smart from herO. herO, he has no intention of pushing in and breaking the space. He has no intention of fighting. He's posturing to buy time for the Immortals. And it worked. It worked. I mean, the Roach army did turn around. The Immortals are on the way. herO, he's almost there. diving on the roaches. Piles that don't quite connect. But nice force field, catching on some of those roaches. And the immortals, they have arrived. Yeah, force fields on. Oh my god! Does slice up the army. Brutal force fields. That's a lot of roaches falling, and now here comes that immortals. And here's army's getting better and better over time. Solo, he's almost maxed out, but the soup does lie. And now we have the second immortal. Oh, we need more zealots, so we need more of a buffer. Up! As immortals are pushing in. Likewise, Archons go down. The immortals are looking exposed. Solo, he wants them. He wants the immortals against the sentries. Sentry get picked up. Last Solo, he hasn't really touched the economy though, only killing 2 probes. Solo regrouping. Does back up, does regroup. Meanwhile, that's going to be 4 immortals. Ay, ay, ay. Once again, nice force fields, lock down the roaches. Just put them down. You know, here he kites well. No War Prism. Yeah, no War Prism. One of the immortals does get caught. He gets 1. He gets 2. Oh my god, barely not. Yeah, the immortal barely gets picked up, but another wave has arrived. Lings getting into the mineral line, and Solar, has he done it? Has he broken the 3rd base? Looks like he has. Yeah, he has broken the base. Probes are falling. It's pure immortal to defend. And Solar, he can just keep rallying. He's just going to keep on rallying here. Solar, he's committing in. And again, it was close. It was close here. He was able to buy some time, able to build up the immortals, but alas, he just barely didn't have enough buffer for his immortals. Whew. And again, Solar has done it. As you mentioned initially, here I'm sure was hoping that Solar was skipping roaches, but then he was stuck with charge. Had to get into the immortals. And we did mention that specifically on Pylon, it is more difficult to defend. It is more difficult to turtle up on 3 and 4 bases. Like, as the aggressor, the map is helping you. And Solar is going for the kill. Yeah, they're immortals, but they're on their own. Immortals on their own, they're not really too terrifying. There's a bite to them. The immortals are falling one after the other, and Solar, GG, gets called. Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG Solar, he does take a lead in the series, and again, these all-ins, they hit so hard on Pylon. herO, it looked like he was hoping that when it comes to all-ins, that Solar was going to go for a Ling Hydra heavy composition and Ling Hydra heavy all-in instead. So did decide to kind of lock himself into going for a charge base opener, which is less than ideal against roaches. So herO was kind of stuck in a really weird place. Of course, his end goal was to try to to deviate and get into his immortals, but as you saw, just barely didn't have enough time. GG. GG, well played. Despite the good force fields, Solar, he does overwhelm, and now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Solar takes a lead. Does take a lead, but now we go from the smallest map of the map pool to the largest map of the map pool. So the 2 extremes here, we just had a game on Pylon, and now we're loading into Maganatha. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Solar. We go. Now, when it comes to all-ins, they are not favored on Maganatha. Maganatha is a very large map in the map pool, long rush distance by ground, and likewise has relatively defendable bases. I say relatively. This is not as defensive as Tokamak. I would say that rotations are a little bit more accessible here, just because the area in between the bases is open, so you can rotate in between the bases, over towards the 3rd base, or over towards the 4th base as well. But there are a lot of choke points. The high ground, the choke points often means that defending on these 4 bases is a little bit easier, and we often do see longer games on Maganatha because of that. Now, what I will say that yes, all-ins, they don't work as well on this map, and I would discourage going for an all-in here this time from Solar. But what is accessible? Well, you can play standard. True, you can play standard. Right now we have Hatch Gas Pool. We can go into +1 melee, into Ling Hydra, into like a lurker rush. You can try to be really tech heavy, rush into lurkers, and make use of that timing. Otherwise, something that we didn't mention, something that did cross our mind, was Mutaplay. right? Going into Aspire and going into Mutas is also viable here. If you can keep it hidden, it is a really good way to catch a Protoss player off guard and just snowball out of control. Again, only if it is hidden. If it gets scouted, then Protoss players, they can of course react and respond with static defense, cannons, shield batteries, phoenixes, and shut that kind of play down. But in my mind, that's going to be like a viable option here, something to look out for Solar. We'll see if he goes Mutas, or we'll see if he goes into Ling Hydra. The likelihood of him committing into Massive Roach like last game is a lot lower, but we'll see. This is where mind games come into play, and there's also situations where, like, oh, you know, the map is large, and because of that, like, all-ins are not really ideal, so your opponent's being really greedy, right? Like, there's a chance that, like, herO, he goes into a Stargate opener, into a third base, he cuts gateways and takes up into fast storm, and takes up into fast splash damage, and suddenly he's vulnerable, and then bam, you can still try to all-in and try to take advantage of him anyway. There are cases like that. We can maybe try to punish a player being too greedy. So there are situations where that can still work. But for now, we're settling it. As usual, Oracle's on the way. Initial Oracle is on the way, being chronoed as we speak. So the pro game is not right GLHF because they play each other so often. I kind of like that most people in the ladder do it. They often do type GLHF. If they don't, it's often because they say it in the lobby. Very often, like, if you're in the lobby chats before the game starts, like, that's when they say GLHF. So it's a little bit different. Like, when you're playing on the ladder, you don't have lobby chat, right? Oracle does break in. So far gets one drone. Faster Eva Chamber here out of solo this time, so plus on melee into a more Ling heavy style. So already he does deviate from last game. That's plus on melee. Oracle zones away, we're gonna get another drone. Yeah, so far 3 drone kills, not bad. 3 drones do fall. The Oracles do take a lot of hull damage, but they do get away. Both Oracles back off. Twilight Council and Twilight Council and Forge. This time it's going to be a bit of a later Twilight Council and Forge. So last game it was around the halfway mark with the third base. This time it's as it's finishing. This should be +1 and blink. Nice round with the Lings. Gets one to death. Does get one. Solo back at home. He's getting ready for the Adept Harass. Going to be 6 Adepts moving out. Safety Roach Horns on the way. Sapling upgrade. So again, herO is playing standard. There's a higher chance now that herO, he might stay on a bit of a lower gateway count and get his 4th base up and running. We'll see how greedy he plans on being. What I find interesting is that the Adepts do turn back around. They do come back home. So here he does race back. Solar, he was forced to make all these Lings to defend against the Adepts. And he won't be able to make use of them. Yeah, nice defense, nice movement out of herO. Pulls away. And Solar is playing Ling Bane. He cancelled the Roach Warren and did thread on the Bane Nest instead. We did mention how Banelings are much more viable now in ZVP in the new patch. So it's going to be Ling Bane Hydra. Meanwhile, here is playing it safe. He does go for a Gateway Explosion, Temple Archives on 3 bases before he expands. As he was getting up to 8 gates. And now just vying for map control. Likewise, Solar, he's been droning, now getting a 5th expansion up and running as well. Now Solar, at this point, he has a choice to make. Either he commits into Lingbane Hydra and maxes on Lingbane Hydra and just pushes across the map to break the 4th base, or he starts to tech up, drone up, and work towards Hive and work towards Lurkers. So we do have kind of like a choice to make here for Solar. Does he commit and double down? The scary thing about him committing into a lair tech all-in is that herO was playing safe. Remember, herO, his 4th base is delayed. Delayed in favor of what? Storm. So if Solar does commit, if he commits into a lair tech all-in here, then Storm will be ready in time, and that's going to be favoring herO, as it's going to be a very fragile army. Oh, nice catch. He takes down both Oracles. Both Oracles go down. Solar still focusing on his own army production. And here is turtling. Yeah, he's turtling up into Skytoss. And again, he's been playing safe. Oh, here is moving out. This can favor Solar. Solar's getting ready. Doesn't have Bailings ready though. Nice wing control. Does press his High Templar. 1 storm does land. Gets 1, gets 2. Does land 2 storms. Oh, the Hydras take a lot of damage. Take a lot of hits. And herO should back off. And herO pulls away. Solar still, focusing on his Lair Tech army. He is going for a Lair Tech all-in. So basically he's maxing out. He's maxing out on Lingbane Hydra. He is not droning and he is not taking into Hive. He's not going for Lurkers. He's not doing anything else. Purely Lingbane Hydra. herO is out of position. Okay, he's racing back. Storm is buying some time. Oh. That's what, 4 Hydras going down. Bailings are getting to the mineral line. He's going for it. Oh! You know where we headed. It does go for the mineral line. Doesn't either warp in. Probes, they try to escape. And 5 probes go down. But the army comes in from behind. And here he will collapse on the army. The Hydras are so low. Storm did land. Nice flanking Lings. Gets 1. Gets 2. Takes down all the Templar. But last Solar, he's running out of steam. He has to back off. He spent all of his Bailings. He spent most of his Hydras. Speaking of bleeding out even more Hydras. And he only killed 5 probes. He killed 5 workers. He did reset the High Templar count, true. That's the most important part. He was able to catch all the Templar. But remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for herO. herO is getting further ahead. herO is building up his Tempest. Making 2 Tempests at a time. So Solar, he has to end the game soon. And again, he's been all in. So either Solar breaks his 4th base or he dies trying. Storm and Lingbane. Bailings, they do try to get past. No major connections. I believe that was the final storm. There's 1 High Templar left. And the High Templar's coming in. Bailings to get into the mineral line. 8 probes are going down. But the base survives. Yeah, the base survives. All the Hydras get cleaned up. herO holds. Oh, here he holds on. And again, the scary thing, slowly over time, the Tempest count is getting higher and higher. This is why we said that Solar's on the timer. And here's army's just being more refined as they'll run by across the map. Distract Solar. Gas is on the way. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say if he takes his gases, that's indicative of trying to take up. Oh, herO overextends. Yeah, herO should not be here. Bleeding out Stalkers. Okay, nice win for Solar. Here he has to back off. Prone to getting surrounded. So herO making some mistakes. More stalkers getting caught out. Very nice catch. And again, this should not have happened. herO bleeding out how many? I want to say that was what, like another 10 stalkers. That was stalkers on the left, stalkers on the right. Expensive losses for herO. And Solo, oh no, he can still pull this up. Catching more stalkers. Yeah, we're getting messy here. We're getting messy. Gets one? Nah, not even. The Tempest to survive. And the Tempest reigns supreme. Spire now begins at the 12-minute mark. Now, this should have been a bit of a cleaner follow-up from herO, but herO did make some mistakes here, right? He overextended with the stalkers on the left, he overextended with stalkers on the right. He bled out a lot of stalkers, and that, again, should not have happened. So Solar is still in this. Solar still has a chance if herO overextends. The one thing that herO didn't do in regards to slipping up, he did at least preserve every Tempest. Every Tempest still survived. We have 9 Tempests now. And Lingbane Hydra's not really built to deal with this. Storm on the flank. High Templar goes down. There's a cancellation on the 5th base. At the same time, ooh, Banelings don't quite make it in. Zelts take it across. Oh, they kill the Hatchery. Hatchery goes down. 1 Tempest, 2 Tempests finally fall. Yeah, herO, he was distracted with the Zealots. But GG gets called. The all-in fails. And herO, he will take game number 2, tying up the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO does tie up the series. Again, as we mentioned, Solar, he was all in, and Solar, he had to kill then and there. He had to kill the 4th base. Alas, he failed to do so. Again, herO did make some slip-ups. He did overextend, so that allowed Solar to have a further chance to try to break him, but GG. GG, well played. In the end, herO did persevere, and now we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Here we go. Thinking against an army like Lingbane Hydra, plus are nice. I mean, Storm is solid. Like, Storm are fine there. As you saw, like, the Storms were connecting, the Lingbane, especially because remember, you're the defensive. Your goal there is to turtle up into Sky Toss. So Storm is even more effective, especially in the latest patch, because of its duration, because of its zoning potential. It's all about buying time for Tempest, right? Like, that's the win condition for herO. Is just buy time. Is survive. And here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Leylines, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. For T1, it is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. With the red Zerg player, we have representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. I think herO could afford that. If you're spending your money on a Robo, on a Bay, on Colossus, it isn't just that Storms can do better when it comes to being a defensive tool, but also, like, as we just tried to mention, the end goal is that you're behind it, getting a second Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, and you're spending your money on Tempest, right? Your goal isn't to, like, shut down the army and try to, like, counterattack with a ground-based composition or anything like that. Like, the money that you're spending, the resource that you're investing is going to be in Sky Toss. So that's why going like Robo or double Robo into Bay, into Colossus production is not as viable. Here we go. Here we go. So getting into ley lines. Now, as we get into ley lines, on this map, it is a smaller map compared to Maganatha, so aggression is more favored than we saw in Maganatha. So far, we've seen nothing but all-ins out of Solar, and that's what we're expecting here as well. Here, though, I would say that Solar's going to be more favored, depending on what kind of play he goes for, though. Again, like Game 1, we saw a Roach-based all-in, Roach Ravager-based all-in, I should say, on Pylon. Game 2, we saw a max out on Lair Tech of Lingbane Hydra. Here in Game 3, we could see Lingbane Hydra again as well. That is another option. I mean, you can also play Roaches. Like, yeah, so Solar he has options on ley lines. Likewise, herO also has the option to be more aggressive as well. Referring to something like 8 Gate Blink Stalkers. Or even opening up charge again, like we saw in game 1. As hero's pylon blocking. Okay, interesting. Does pylon block to delay the third. You're just being a little bit annoying. Stargate opener out above hero. Yes, from here we are getting our third base. Oracle's on the way. We'll keep an eye open for the Twilight Council timing of hero. We'll see if he gets it early. We'll see if he gets it later. As the Oracles do move out. Gonna be on solo to keep up. As the Oracle pokes in, no Evo Chamber, no plus on melee. This solo's going there first, I would assume. He has the gas for it. Just keeping up with the Oracle. Lings, they move out for a counterattack. The third base is somewhat exposed. Yep, there it is. It's going to be Lair first into the Roach Warren. No plus on melee, no Lingbane Hydra this time. Okay. So this is similar to game number 1 where Solo is playing Roach, and now suddenly there's a chance, there's an opportunity here for him to maybe commit with pure Roach Ravager again. We did mention how these Roach-based all-ins are much more viable here than on Maganatha, as the bases are more open and the rush distance is shorter. So we'll keep an eye on Solar. This doesn't have to be an all. Oh, hello. He cancels the Roach Warren. Lair is almost done. Gases are being taken. Are we going into Spire play? Are we going into the Spire? Are we going into Mutas? Bold move here by Solar. If so, this would be plus on melee. Hydras. Okay. The other one. So no Spire, going for the Hydra Den. Interesting choice here. Now, it's been a while. There is a build. Jesus, we're going Mass Oracle. We have a 5th Oracle on the way. Okay. He's crazy. Now, what I was gonna say, there is a build at Solar he was very fond of. I think it was at the start of the year or end of last year. I don't know if you remember, but there was a Hydra all-in that Solar would go for where he does not get any upgrades. No plus on range, no plus on melee. Instead, it'd be very light on Lings and very heavy on Hydras. And it would be basically a 3-base all-in where you don't saturate the 4th base. That's what this looks like here for Solar. Oh, no. He's taking up. I mean, he will lose the base. Yeah, the base is going to go down. I mean, we have Mass Oracle. Jesus. Here, he's not been stopping. We have +1 in charge on the horizon as well. Here, he's getting fancy. So we have late upgrades here for Solar. I do think that you did plan on going for an all-in. Otherwise, +1 range would have started a long time ago. Like, it's a very late upgrade, late tech as well. So a bit of an awkward start here for Solar. And herO, we're up to 6 Oracles. With this, he can dive into mineral lines and focus on the spores. Speaking of, dives into the main. Doesn't see an opening yet. He rotates around. Hydra's in position. Nice movement here by Solar. Gets one. Gets one. Gets, oh my god. Almost 2. Gets one of the Oracles. herO does pull away. Hive is on the way again. We're trying to rush, or we're trying to tech up it towards Lurkers. And we'll see who strikes first. This time here, he's incorporating all the splash damage, getting to a 4th base, getting into a Robotics Bay, and a Fleet Beacon, and a Temple Archives. He's getting everything. This feels a little bit greedy here. herO is taking in every direction. While getting a 4th base as well. And we'll see if we can get away with it. Now, Solar, he should hit first with his lurkers, right? He should hit first. Speaking of, he doesn't have enough gas, but he's trying to build up his lurker count. Hydra Lunge? Okay. He's getting his hive upgrades. Now, when it comes to the investment of these oracles, they did at least force a cancel on the 4th base. They at least kept Solar busy. Solar's trying to be active. He still has to wait for his lurkers. As he's waiting, hero's building up. Again, hero's army it's just been very chaotic here. Remember, he got the bait. Unless he canceled, right? No, he canceled. Okay, that makes more sense. So he canceled the base, so 0 Colossus production. That's why we have Immortals instead. So my apologies. Didn't notice they did cancel. That makes more sense. That was not the time for Colossus. Building up his Immortals. Solar's moving in. So far, the Archons are getting position. Link's going to be forced back. We come in for the flank as well. Very nice flank. Yeah, nice surround. Hydra's distracted, and we get a full surround of the army. Solar, he will lose everything. Lurkers go down, Hydras go down, the Oracles survive, and herO can now counterattack. herO takes a massive lead. Solar now going for the Spire, now trying to take up. But again, that Lurker timing hit too late. Remember, the Lurkers that meant to hit earlier, but he had no gas. Had no gas. And Solar's in danger. Solar, he's in danger. I mean, it's been a quirky game, so I don't necessarily blame Solar for kind of being a little bit ill-prepared for his Lurker timing. You don't often play against, what, 6 Oracle? There's a revelation. It's only 3 lurkers. There's nothing stopping herO. herO he can just walk in. He can and he will. Breaks through the main army. There's Cloak. And with that, he breaks through all the links. GG gets called. There's nothing left, and herO will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that herO, he will take the series and he will advance on into those semis. Shout out to Solar for again making it to the quarterfinals. And again, Solar, he was able to hold his own. He was able to catch out and punish herO previously when it came to his all-in on Pylon. But here in game 3, again, it was a bit of an awkward start. Remember, we did see initially it looked like Solar was going for a Hydra all-in, but then he had a very late decision to switch out, to tech out in towards Lurker tech. One of the reasons for that was his 4th base was shut down. We saw the mass Oracle go in, so Solar, he had to change his plans. So he had a really rough start just because he was hyper invested into his early Hydra timing, and then it didn't really hit, right? Like he had to switch out of it, which means he had to go for the later went for the later infestation bits, went for the later upgrades. He had to rebuild. He had late 4th base as well, so everything was delayed there for Solar. And with that, herO took a lead. So take a lead, get comfortable. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the semi-finals. Un momento. Think he gave herO too much time? I would say it was less about him giving herO time and more, I mean, it was, as we tried to mention, like the build of Solar was disrupted. He had initial plans to go for a different style of play, going into a commitment into Hydras. Then he had to like hard switch out of that. Like you could see the kind of that decision being made when the oracles were revealed when he lost the 4th base. Here we go. So we're going to be following herO into the semis. And up next is going to be herO versus MaxPax. Okay, we're getting into our PvP, and again here in MaxPax they do often trade, they go back and forth, and it's often a very dynamic series as well. What I appreciate here is that again we do have a very different kind of MaxPax when it comes to PvP. If you haven't been watching much of MaxPax in the recent months, he has finally reinvented himself in PvP just because of the quote-unquote MaxPax opener failing so often, especially in the latest patch. With the removal of the shield battery overcharge, it does mean that the quote-unquote MaxPax opener of going for faster Stargate into a faster natural base is no longer as viable. And MaxPax, he found that at the hard way for a good like 2 months. Like MaxPax, he was taking a lot of, he had a rough year. He's had a rough year when it comes to PvP. His PvP did plummets throughout the first like 6 months, and then finally in recent months, MaxPax did reinvent himself in PvP. We'll get into it. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss. For T1, it is herO. Here we go. But if you've been watching MaxPax over the years, I want to say for the past like 4 years, MaxPax, he would do one build in PvP. He'd do one build, and that was to go for a faster tech. He'd go for a faster expansion. He'd go single gate into Cybercore into expansion, or gate Cyber Stargate into expansion as well. But as we mentioned, with the removal of the shield battery overcharge, we have seen that build die out, and that we've seen that build be less effective and less viable. I say that he's going for it. So gate Cybercore here. He's not going for 2 gate. Bold move out of MaxPax. I will say that he has stopped going for this for the most part, but he is opting to go for it here in game 1. So there's a Cybercore. So this is a greedy build. Thankfully, herO, it looks like he's going for a fake out. If he was going for a very real proxy, I would be favoring herO right now. But if he's hiding a pylon, that means that MaxPax will get away with this. Part of this is because if you look, herO hasn't scouted. Instead of going for the probe scout, he went for the hidden pylon. Now, herO can still try to all in from back at home to punish this, but the pressure is now going to be on herO. So here we go. Pressure's on. He's intentionally hiding the probe here, again, to make it look like he's proxying and going for an all-in. MaxPax, he scouts this as well. Now, the other downside, as we were trying to mention, MaxPax, he sees that the pylon is missing, and he may be tempted to go for a Void Ray and go for a more defensive setup here. Yep, there we go. Zeld is on the way. And you do have to invest a little bit more because of the removal of shield battery overcharge. Like, PvP was impacted with that change, of course, just because now your shield batteries are less effective, especially with the NG overcharge change as well, which means your NG overcharge on the shield battery is also less effective in PvP, which means you do have to invest into more shield batteries to defend against all-ins. Shield batteries on the way. When hero's just expanding, right? Like, hero's just expanding. And MaxPax doesn't know. Not yet. Oh, does he? Oh, the scout is up. Scout is denied. Probe goes down. MaxPax is in the dark. Getting the low ground pylon as well. Meanwhile, Twilight Council open out of herO. Does go for his Twilight Council herO. He does scout. He is aware of the natural base timing. He knows. And he will confirm the Stargate. Behind this is getting ready. He will give chase. Sork is a fan out to intercept. Nicely done. Zone's away. MaxPax going for his own delayed Twilight Council. Oracle into the main. Something that I should mention as well is that this build that MaxPax is going for is also weaker in the latest patch. And if you notice, but we did have a MaxPax specific nerf just because of the change to the stasis traps. Stasis wards, they used to last a lot longer, but they were reduced quite heavily. They were reduced quite heavily in the latest patch, and that does impact PvP quite a bit as well. MaxPax, he was renowned for his Oracle control and for his Oracle stasis traps being so annoying, but that's less impactful here in the latest patch of the game. Oh. Yeah, as hero's going for the proxy. MaxPax, he does not see, does not notice. How many gates? We have 3 at home, 1 across the map, 4 gate blink. So 4 gate blink Stalker, hero's being hyper aggressive on 2 bases. And MaxPax just now getting his own 3rd gateway. Getting ready back at home. There's a bigger window in time here where hero does have blink over his opponent. Blink is almost done, and MaxPax needs time. It's time to build up. MaxPax going for his own proxy. Hero will hit. He will hit first. Hero even going for DTs as well. Okay. Hero does have more stalkers, but he's also keeping stalkers at home to defend against the oracles, so he doesn't have everything to work with. Pokes in. Ooh, we'll lose 1. Miscontrol out of hero. Remember, here he has blink. Does blink away. Does blink back. I am here. MaxPax is expanding. Stasis trap on the high ground. Hero, will he notice? The other scary thing is that there is no robo. So no robo for MaxPax, no detection currently, except for revelations, except for these 2 oracles. So Dark Templar, they have potential. Stasis goes off, teasing connection. You're going to be forced back. Where the Dark Templar? Where's that warp in? And now warping in. There's 1, 2 oracles across the map. Then not him to defend. No, now he does scout. Yeah, he does scout. Big moment here for MaxPax. He sees, he knows. He has time to react. There's the recall back home. Yeah, recalls the Oracle. We have 1 DT in the main. Sorry, 2 in the main, 1 at the natural. Robes are going down. And this is getting a bit out of hand. 16 probe kills. But remember, we had the faster third base of MaxPax. So MaxPax is making up for that. DTs are going down. Economies are neck and neck. Oh, hero going for the dive? Oh, I don't think hero has enough here. Yeah, he does not. Yeah, hero, he's falling behind. He's falling further behind. Again, the DTs, they were nice, but they only really equalize the economy, and hero's still behind. He still does not have his third base up and running. MaxPax is running away with this. Hero, he was also late to warp in the Dark Templar. He was distracted with his stalkers. And every second did count. It allowed MaxPax to actually come in and scout. With that adepts, they go into the main, they cripple the economy. And, I mean, there is a chance here for hero if maybe he's able to strike as MaxPax moves out. True. Finds some damage. MaxPax, he turns back around. but this is still heavily in favor of MaxPax. We'll bring in more Stalkers, still has a proxy. And this one is just a numbers game. Like herO, he just doesn't have enough to defend. Doesn't have the army he needs. As MaxPax, he commits in, Stasis Trap goes off. Oh my god. that was a bold blink out of herO. Yeah, which means he cannot blink away. And with that MaxPax, he should just overwhelm. He overwhelms the army, shuts down the Stalkers, boys are being pulled. herO getting desperate, Stasis goes off on the boys. Initial Stasis running out. But again, herO just doesn't have the army. GG gets called, and MaxPax takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO initially going 4-gate blink and going for the early blink timing. I felt like that was the go-to, right? I was expecting extra gateways. Remember, herO didn't expand. herO didn't get a 3rd base, but he didn't get a 5th gateway, didn't get a 6th gateway. He wasn't warping in. Instead, he was taking up into Dark Templar, which means he missed his timing, which means MaxPax got his 3rd base. He got his 3rd base up and running, got it fully operational, which meant that even though the DTs got 16 probe kills, didn't matter. That was not enough damage. It's a crazy amount of damage, don't get me wrong, but MaxPax was still ahead. He was still ahead because of the faster 3rd base, because of the heavy worker lead as well. He could afford to lose those probes, and in the end he was able to just tank that damage, shut them down. Likewise, you can also argue that here he was late with his Dark Templar because he was distracted when he was microing his Stalkers, so every second did count. Did mean that MaxPax was able to confirm the Dark Shrine and recall his Oracles. He was able to recall his Oracles and minimize even more damage as well. But now we're getting in. Now we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pylon, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Green Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for T1. It is herO. Here we go. Getting into game number 2. MaxPax does have his lead. We are loading into Pylon. Pylon is a map where aggression and all-ins are favored, so I would assume that MaxPax will be going for a 2-gate opener, but we'll keep an eye on MaxPax. We'll see if he once again goes for a gate cyber into Stargate. I was mentioning how that build has fallen off and fallen out of favor, and we did see even last game that MaxPax did not really achieve as much damage, and there were opportunities for herO instead, but those opportunities, they kind of fell by the wayside. So we'll see what MaxPax goes for. As here comes the 2nd gateway. So again, 2-gate open out of herO. MaxPax, he's going for the Cybercore again. I'm not too fond of this, but okay. He's going for the Cybercore. Going for his opener. herO moves out. We'll see if he commits. This is a prime location for a proxy robo for a 1-base all-in. I would also say that this location here, the low ground and the high ground, are very common proxy locations, so there's a very high chance that MaxPax will see this coming. MaxPax, he sees that a pylon is missing, he knows something is wrong, and this area should be the first place to check, or one of the first places. TLMC results soon, by the way. Oh, let's go. Vex. Gracias, gracias. Buenos días, buenos días. Results soon, TM. My question is, with the results coming in, is it going to be the results in conjunction with what the map pool is going to be, or just the results? Because I'm a little bit more interested in what the in what the map pool is going to look like. I would assume because it's taken so long that it's probably going to come together. Maybe. We'll see. What's that? Both as far as I know. Oh, let's go. Let's go. I'm curious to see how Wax has brought the map pool together. Because I'm a little bit concerned about it. I'm a little bit concerned, but we'll see. Also, I'm curious as to what the results were. Like, I feel like Mothership's gonna be the easy #1 place, right? Like, did Last Fantasy get first place last time? As here, he's coming into the proxy, of course. He's warping it across the map. Yeah, nice force field, locks down the Zealots, zones away the Stalkers. From here, going for the Archosis pylon. Oh, that's the only pylon. Uh-oh. Almost. Here come the Warpins. Yeah, here come the additional Warpins. Takes down the Stalker. One more volley. Pylon goes down. Thankfully, backup pylon did finish. Did barely finish up. And MaxPax so far is holding on. The Void Ray has arrived. Let's go to his first Void Ray. Second one is on the way. And we built up to 12 Stalkers. We'll lose one. Ooh, one Stalker is now with 2 shots. GG gets called. We do see herO break through into the main base, and herO ties up the series at 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. We are going to the ace match. Again, very bold of MaxPax to go for the Gate Cyber Stargate opener here. Going for the MaxPax, especially on Pylon. A very bold move. And I would assume that we're going to be seeing MaxPax deviate away from that coming into the ace match. I would assume, as we are loading into Persephone for that third and final game. Let's go. Let us go. As we are getting into the ace match and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss. For T1, it is herO. I was sold 9 new maps. Oh my god, 9. Let's go. 9 new maps. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That is really cool. I'm curious to see, as I mentioned, I'm curious to see what maps are going to be incorporated. Curious. If it's going to be 9 new maps, I feel like Mothership is a sure thing. I feel like 10,000 feet must be a sure thing as well. But I mean, I've already expressed this before. I think my only big concern about the map pool is if too many large maps are thrown in, right? There's a lot of large maps in the TLMC top 16, so I'm a little bit concerned that there's going to be too many large maps in the new map pool. But we'll see. We shall see. Like, I think it's important that there's like a nice balance of like smaller or medium-sized maps like thrown in as well. I think that's also partially because, I mean, you know this, I'm okay saying this. I was a little bit surprised because I was judging for the first time how small like the rush section was, right? Like there were so few, I should say, there were so few rush maps like submitted, or I guess categorized as rush maps. So I think only, if I'm not mistaken, I think only 2 got into the top 16, right? From the rush maps. It was 10,000 feet and what was the other one? But there were like 2, I think, that made it into the top 16. It's like that, but the quantity is also, I guess, like partially like responsible for that, right? There just weren't many options to begin with. Rush maps rarely get scored well. Yeah, but I mean the amount of them was much smaller, I should say. Like there weren't many rush maps to begin with. Stop making them myself. Yeah. Too many expansions? Oh, it's less about too many expansions, more about the size, the rush distance, right? Meanwhile, we do have initial openers. It is going to be a 2-gate opener into Stargate out of herO. Meanwhile, we have once again Gate Cyber Stargate out of MaxPax. So MaxPax does go for his same opener 3 games in a row. Bold move. I haven't seen him commit this hard to going Stargate in quite some time. And that's why I had like our little like intro at the beginning of the series. But no, does every game this time. Or in this series, I should say. Going for it every game. herO back at home, opening up with a Phoenix. The Adept will scout, will confirm. MaxPax is aware. Chats. That's what I mean. If they didn't get scored well, people won't make them because it means no money opportunity. Yeah. I understand. I'll do my best. I think 10,000 feet got scored decently well, I feel. But you're right, like, in comparison to the others, like, for sure. Well, as the Oracle is going to get called out, gets 4 probe kills, gets some damage at least. 4 probes do full. Yeah, and we're going into double Stargate Mass Phoenix. Okay, bold move out of herO. Bearing in mind that MaxPax, he's switching to a ground-based army with a Twilight Council. So there's going to be an opportunity for herO to break MaxPax before we get into Blink Stalker and a heavy Stalker army as well. As it's going to be an explosion of Phoenixes. We'll see if herO can pull this off. Bearing in mind that MaxPax has not seen the second Stargate. So MaxPax is not aware. 39-second rush, this is how they call it a rush map. For sure. I can understand that. I would still call it an aggressive map. I mean, if it was made smaller, I don't think I would have rated it any lower, to be honest. We gotta tighten it up, Pappy. Make it smaller. Make it shorter. Phoenixes do break in. Looking to overwhelm the initial Phoenixes. Stalkers are revealed. Of course, Twilight Council also revealed here the herO. There's more pressure on herO to find more damage. Fails to do so. Nice defense out of MaxPax. Does reset the Phoenix count. Getting to the mineral line. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there by MaxPax. Late to react. Moving out, actually. Okay. Does move out. As a result, he will lose more Stalkers. It'll take a while, but there we go. Stalker goes down. A couple of probes. MaxPax does counterattack. Back at him, what do we have to defend? No immortals yet. Robo into immortal production still a little bit of a ways away. MaxPax is committing. Those are rush maps. Yo, I remember Arena. I think. God. As Phoenixes, they will dive in. And not quite enough lifts though. Yeah, not quite enough. The immortal's on the way. herO, he needs more time. He needs the immortal. He still needs a little bit more time. And Stalkers are breaking through. Yeah, boys are being pulled. The immortal will pop. That's going to be a tough hold here for herO. As the immortal barely does make it out. Going for the mass lift. Okay, herO holds. Whew, herO, he does hold on. I mean, the economy still takes a massive blow. How about boys, calm down. Boys being pulled back. And herO, he does hold. He does hold. At the same time, MaxPax back at home. He's expanding. I say, very nice stasis trap into the main. herO was distracted. Stasis goes off, and MaxPax, he's successfully switched into Blink Stalker. Right? He's got Blink, he's got plenty of gateways, third base as well, still has retained part of his army. And herO is still stuck at home. Can't believe that map is real. It was a clown map. It was a clown map. What's the other one? Not Daedalus Point, but it was Daedalus something. Maybe I'm thinking of Daedalus Point. Oh no, Rex! No! Come back to us, Rex. God, Daedalus Point. That was the map. Was that the map where it was like, was it 3 or 4 nexuses wide? Like the ramp to the natural? do you recall? It was crazy, man. It was crazy. I remember the meme. I remember Base Trade, they memed on it as well with their intro. I think it was 3 nexuses wide, right? As we do get the entire mineral line. Oh my god, here he busts into the 3rd. Does bust in. 14 probe kills. Very nice. Jesus. So MaxPax is committing into 4 immortals. Oh, does dive in. Gets 1. 1 immortal goes down. No force fields. Barely gets a 2nd. And Phoenix is a little bit late to respond. The immortals, they need support. And again, here he just doesn't have enough on the ground. Not enough support for his immortals. MaxPax, it's actually quite similar to game 1 actually, where MaxPax, he lost so many probes, he lost an entire mineral line, but he's still ahead, right? He's still up in expansion, still up in worker, still has a greater economy. Archons are being morphed in. Yeah, the Phoenixes are falling one after the other. Bleeding out Phoenixes, the Archons, they cannot be lifted. And MaxPax is breaking through. He's got his Archon support. We can see herO working towards the bay. Into Colossus or Disruptors. It's ambitious. Phoenixes move out. As he moves out, MaxPax moves in. Okay, hero's racing back. He's racing back, and MaxPax, he is going for the kill here. And warping in more zealots. He has more of a buffer to get on top of the immortals. There's a high immortal count, that is true, but oh, they get locked down. Yeah, brutal force field. Immortals being targeted. Down to 3, down to 1. 1 immortal left. And MaxPax has done it. Does break, does overwhelm herO. GG gets called, and MaxPax will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, there was a power spike early on for herO when it comes to going mass Phoenixes. Unfortunately, we saw a very fast switch into Blink Stalkers from MaxPax. He was able to successfully get out of Phoenix Wars into more of a Blink Stalker heavy composition, and of course gain map control, contain herO on 2 bases, take a 3rd base, build up into charge, refine his army. herO, he was stuck in the back foot here, stuck trying to defend, didn't really do enough economic damage across the map. Didn't achieve enough with his early Phoenix lead. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax pulling a bit of a classic or a bit of a Korean Protoss. It's very, very common whenever MaxPax would open up and go into Phoenix Wars to see players like Classic, players like herO, players like Zaun as well, hard switch out of Phoenix Wars or out of Phoenixes into Blink Stalkers to try to catch his opponent off guard and go for a Stalker all in. Here we can see MaxPax turning the tables on herO. GG. GG, well played. With that, does advance on to the grand finals, and we'll see who he plays against as we are getting ready for our next series. Meanwhile, big shout out to Poultry in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thanks so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you, puppy. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate the support. Catching up. The one with like 5, was it 5? Like, in my brain, it was like 3 or 4 Nexuses wide, but 5, Jesus, that's crazy. Can't believe MaxPax that so aggressively. Feels like a mistake. Is this correct? I mean, again, the purpose of going into Blink like that is to try to catch the opposing Protoss player before they're able to switch out of Mass Phoenix, because they invested into a second Stargate, right? So there we saw that herO, he was struggling to switch into Immortal production, and we saw that I believe MaxPax did hit just before the first Immortal arrived as well. So it was trading quite well for himself, trading well, killing Phoenixes, and also containing herO on 2 bases while he expanded behind it. So when you go for that kind of Blink Stalker switch out of Phoenixes, like, it is imperative that you're in the face of your opponents as much as possible. Be in the face. And with that, we have MaxPax in the finals, and now we're jumping into the upper semis to confirm who will play against him. Up next, we have Clem versus Creator. Clem versus Creator in a TVP. Think you have to be, or Phoenixes have too much map presence? Yes, yes. And here we go, we're loading into let's go. Loading into Last Fantasy, as spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Last Fantasy, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss. It is a Creator. And spawning in the top side of Last Fantasy, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is a Clem. Here we go. As we are going to be opening up, we are going to be settling in. Welcome to Last Fantasy. Last Fantasy is a 3-player small map. You can spawn in top side, left side, and right side as well. So 3 possible spawn locations. We don't often get to see mini games on Last Fantasy. It is the most vetoed map in the map pool, so I appreciate whenever we do get to experience Last Fantasy. As a result, it can be a little bit quirky here. Of course, we have the speed zones in the center. The map is relatively small. It's a little bit easier to rush and to rotate between bases and to move out across the map, but there are some defensive features here, specifically the high ground, the points of elevation. We have a narrow choke point coming into the 3rd base. We have a narrow choke point here coming into the natural. There's a lot of choke points, a lot of ramps, and we have seen players be successful in being defensive on this map, but in TVP it's a bit of a different dynamic. As Creator scouts, Creator confirms Clem is topside. Oh, okay, so Clem going to be opening up a double gas into skipping Reaper. Okay, does skip the Reaper, going for the faster factory. You have my attention. Okay, interesting. We're going reactored Reaper Hellion. Are we turning this into a 1-base all-in? As we are building up. So far, Creator, he has yet to scout. Oh, this is scary. So it is going to be reactored Reaper Hellion. Creator, he scouts the right-hand side. He sees that Clem isn't here. He's like, okay, so I know where Clem is. I know that Clem is topside, and he doesn't check the build. He doesn't check the opener. So for all Creator knows, it could be something more economic, or it could be something more aggressive, as we're seeing here. Clem, he is not going for the starport. He is going to be expanding, so not a 1-base all-in, but still hyper aggressive. The Reaper Hellion is building up, and Creator is currently in the dark. There's a higher chance he's going to be punished. Here comes the Hallucination Scouts. Does get eyes on the first Reaper, but again, the Reapers, they were split. And alas, we have more Reapers on the way. Spots a Hellion. Is aware of the later CC. And now does scout the add-ons. Shield Barriers on the way. Rolling up. There we go, we have 1 Shield Barrier in the main base, 1 Shield Barrier in the natural. Again, Shield Barrier is going to be quite necessary here to defend. As Creator, he has 3 units. He has 2 Stalkers and 1 Sentry. But it all comes together, and the Shield Barriers, they are delayed. Can he get the Sentry? He wants it. Yeah, Sentry goes down. Massive pickup. Shield Barrier's not done. Stalker's going to fall as well. Now we can go straight for the mineral line. Sorry, the second Stalker under fire does defend, though. Stalker pops out. And Creator holds. Whew. Creator, he does holds on. Did end up losing the Sentry and the Stalker. These are still some big losses, but he does survive. Bearing in mind that 3 Hellions do one-shot probes, so these 3 Hellions are going to be a big threat. Reaper's back into the main. Oh. Hellions into the natural. They get into the mineral line. Oh, and probes are lining up. Yeah, probes are lining up, getting 3 probes so far. Getting 4. Only 4. Clem does pull away. Behind this, going for, I believe... Oh, I assumed he was going to wait for the tank, but never mind. Moving out with his drop. Liberty behind this. The aggression does not end. He spots the would-be third. Was this 2-gate? Ooh, 2-gate blink into a third base. Very greedy build here by Creator. Yeah, Creator is cutting corners, staying on a lower gateway count. And he will lose 2 more probes. That's 2 more probes do fall. Again, we're building up. We're building up to an eventual early push. Tanks are amassing. Vikings on the way as well. Clem is topping up. And here comes the move out. Hallucination does scout. So Creator, he's aware. But again, as we mentioned, Creator, he's on a he only has 2 gateways. Like his production is quite low. He's been greedy. Clem is coming in. Nice positioning. He does take down the Hellions at least. Gets on Marine. Liberator into the main. Clem trying to force his way through. And probes are going down. Okay, 5 probe kills already. Within range of the wall. Meanwhile, we do see Creator coming in for the surround. Okay, he's going for the dive. Blinks on forward, takes down the first tank. He gets 1. Oh, but brutal losses. Yeah, brutal losses here. Very nice control out of Clem. He juggles. Juggles the tank, shuts down the stalkers. The flank was unsuccessful, and Clem is breaking in. He's breaking into the natural. Tanks are moving forward as well. Medevac is targeted down. The boys are being pulled. Creator getting desperate. Boys being pulled into Vikings of all things. 1 tank goes down. Just the one. GG gets called, and Clem, he overwhelms. Clem takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Very bold move by Creator to go 2-gate blink. A very greedy build, especially on Last Fantasy, especially after scouting a more aggressive opener out of Clem. So Creator was basically, he was just gambling. Creator, he was gambling. He was hoping that maybe Clem would be being a little bit more defensive or a little bit more economic himself. So we did see Creator cutting corners, rushing to a third base. As a result, later gateways, later warp-ins, later army. That's why he was vulnerable when he was, and Clem did overwhelm. Did barely break through. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into game number 2. Clem does have a lead in the series, and we'll see if Creator can recover and bounce back. As we are loading into Tokamak, a much larger map of the map pool. Much larger, much more defensive, and we should be seeing a longer game here. Should be. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tokamak, we have the French Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. With the blue Protoss, it is Creator. Here we go. And again, Creator, he was just cutting corners, he was being greedy. Nowadays, I will say that 2-gate blink into a third base has fallen out of favor, except for these larger maps. I should emphasize that I'm not opposed to Creator being greedy and cutting corners here. Like on Tokamak, it makes more sense. It does make more sense. Larger map, longer rush distance by ground, more defensive, natural third and fourth base as well. Very defensive 4-base setup. So this is a map where Creator can cut some corners, and we should often see a longer and later game. But Clem does open double gas again. Okay, So double gas opener out of Clem. What does this mean? This means he's once again going for a faster factory. Last game he doubled down and went Reactor Reaper Hellion. This time we could see something a little bit more tame, but regardless, with excess gas means faster factory and faster starport. As it should be a CC after the factory. First Reaper's on the way. This time Creator scouts. This time he moves out with his probe. And does confirm the factory timing, so he knows. Now the goal here is to hide the probe and try to keep it alive from the Reaper. Probe does pull back home. Does race back. And should make it back home. So it's going to be Reaper into factory into reactor. Okay. CC on the high ground. Command center's on the way. Ooh, as Clem barely gets into the main base. Oh, where are we going? Okay, he does make a rush for it. And he does scout the tank, gets eyes on the Twilight Council, he knows. And wow, Clem, he tries to get away, but he should not be able to. There we go, he gets shot down. Creator holds. Creator, he defends. Behind this, Clem going for his own Cyclone opener. As you can see here, this is a much more, like, quote-unquote tame opener. I'm getting back into it. Last game it was Reactor Reaper Hellion. This game, 0 Hellions. 0 Hellion production is going Reactor Marine into a faster Cyclone into a faster Starport for drop play. We did mention that because of the double gas opener, so it means we can get into a faster Starport. Drops are going to be on the horizon, a very different kind of opener compared to game 1. Likewise, we'll see how many gateways Creator does invest into. So far, that is the second gateway. That up's taken from the Cyclone at least. Drop is on the way. Behind this, going for the early tank and Viking. This is looking like an early push again. An earlier move out. Has been quite trendy. As landed Vikings can actually add quite a lot of DPS this early on. Drop gets into the main base. This does ideally force a distraction, and it does allow Clem to move out. Yep, here comes a push. We're just rallying. We're just rallying everything across the map. As we mentioned, the reason why there's Vikings on the way is because we just need as much DPS as possible, as much damage output. And Creator's distracted. And again, this follow-up here has been very trendy over the past, like, month or so. And here comes Clem. Blink is about to finish. Ideally, you want to slow this down, but Creator, he was busy with the Cyclone. That's the offensive pylon. No, the pylon! The pylon's going to go down. Blink is not going to finish. 2 seconds away. No shot. Gateways get depowered. I believe there's only one gate. Yeah, only one gateway. One gateway, one warp in. Ay, ay, ay. They have brutal tank volleys on the Stalkers. Stalkers, they cannot engage, not without Blink. Ah, God. Cybercore is being targeted, so you cannot warp in Stalkers anyway. Yeah, Cybercore goes down. Blink will complete, but what you see is what you get. So we have how many Stalkers? We have 6. So 6 Stalkers. Second tank arrives. Snipes the Observer. And Clem is going for the kill. He's going for the natural. Ay, ay, ay. The Immortal will help, but the Robo is under fire. Blinks in. Gets one. Gets one tank. Oh, good. He gets punished, though. That's going to be 2 Stalkers going down. The Immortal has arrived. Remember, we're only warping in Zealots. Slow lots even. And Creator, it looks like, can he barely hold on? Not with reinforcements. Not with reinforcements. The tank survives. Immortal goes down. And Clem has done it. kills the Robo. No Immortals, only slow loss to warp in. GG gets called, and Clem, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played with that, Clem. He does claim the series, does advance on. Again, a hyper aggressive build. As we mentioned, this build has been very popular in recent times, in recent weeks, specifically going for your initial drop play, your initial Cyclone Marine drop to distract, and then bam, tank and Viking rally across the map. As we mentioned, it looks a little bit weird to make Vikings this early on for their anti-air. It's not about the anti-air. Landed Vikings do actually do a lot of damage against gateway units, specifically stalkers, and against probes as well. It's just all about just getting as much damage output as you can early on to kill. GG. GG, well played. And again, it was just really unfortunate that that blink was delayed as it was. The Tosis pylon went down, denied any kind of warp ins. Just everything went wrong there for Creator. GG. GG, well played. Oh, that was a fast series. That was a fast series. Hyper aggression out of Clem. And here we go. With that, we're going to be going on a short break. We're getting ready for the finals, the final series of the broadcast. When we come back, we'll have a Clem versus MaxPax in a TVP, in a best of 5. Still building Reaver walls because that happening. I mean, it's still viable to go for that. It's just imperative that you do get a backup pylon and they're able to slow things down. Bearing in mind, one of the reasons why that worked as well as it did is because Creator was distracted. Remember, he was distracted by what? By the Cyclone drop. Because the Cyclone drop was distracting, he wasn't able to slow down and delay and scout the move outs when it was coming across the map. Right, like otherwise, typically, Creator, he'd be active on the map, he'd be able to slow it down, able to engage, force an early siege, pick away at the army, and there'd be a bit of a different dynamic there. Different dynamic. So it is still viable to go for the wall off there on the Reaper Cliff. Still very viable, if not standard. But for now, we're going to be going to a break. When we come back, we will see you with Clem versus MaxPax. We'll see you soon. See you soon after the break. Hope. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the grand finals. The grand finals of the WardiTV Monday number 57. We are here. We have returned with our TVP. Clem, he took down Creator in a very fast series, by the way. Clem, he was hyper aggressive both in game 1 and in game 2 against Creator, and Creator had a hard time keeping up. Game 1, if you remember, Creator was hyper greedy. He went 2-gate blink into a third base, and game 2, Creator was otherwise distracted, didn't see what was coming his way, and got shut down by the early tank of Viking push, and with that, Clem did overwhelm. Likewise, MaxPax, who was able to take down herO in the PvP. We can't really glean too much about that, coming into a very different matchup, into Protoss versus Terran. Let's go. We're loading into Pylon. We're loading into the smallest map in the map pool. Shorter rushes by ground. Aggressive builds are favored here, and we'll see how aggressive our players plan on being. Let's go. This morning, in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the French Terran player. We have the French Terran. We have the red Terran for Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for System Gaming. It is MaxPax. Here we go. So we are getting into our best of 5. And we're loading into Pile. Hello. Okay. Speaking of aggression, speaking of aggressive builds, we have MaxPax. MaxPax does pop off. He's going for an initial proxy, going for the proxy, I believe, 2-gate. Nothing back at home, so we're expecting additional gateways across the map once the pylon is done. Let's go. First gateway has been thrown down. So it does go for the proxy gates. Clem, we'll see if he does go for an economic opener. That is the hope here. Remember, against Creator, both games actually, Clem did open up 2 double gas. He went double gas opener against Creator in game 1 and game 2. Here, it looks like single gas, racks, expand, economic start out of Clem. Things are lining up for MaxPax, as this will be a proxy zealot. We see MaxPax being as annoying as possible, tasing away at the SCV, and Clem should be getting a CC on the low ground, and that's going to be the target for this zealot. Ooh, as MaxPax will delay, go up to 470, 80, up to 5, almost up to 500. So nice delay here on the CC. Here comes the zealot, and behind this, MaxPax does expand. But again, the goal here is to do what? Is to delay, maybe even cancel the command center. Protoing out the second zealot. Reaper moves out, waiting for the Reaper to move across the map. As the Reaper moves out, the zealot moves in. And we're going for that command center. The SCV is already low from earlier. Yep, will be zoned away. Delay on the CC. Bunkers being thrown down. Doesn't want to get caught out. Does want to go up the ramp. And again, the goal here, just delay. Just heavy delay. Going for the add-on, going for the tech lab of all things. Tech lab taking a lot of hits. Will be able to repair in time. As now we have a Stalker going for the SCVs. That's one. Oh. Down one of the SCVs. Reaper gets zoned away. Reaper, he wants a zealot. Oh, he gets it. Zealot goes down. Zealot does fall. And behind this, Max is going for a Robo opener back at home. Okay, this will lead into early Immortal production, early War Prism as well. Let me ask his Marauder. Oof. Losing another SCV. Another SCV goes down. Bearing in mind there's no concussive shell. And MaxPax still just trading well here. Gets 3 SCVs, still massive delay on the command center. He wants that Reaper. Does get it. Reaper goes down, trades out a Stalker for one of the Marauders. We'll lose 2 Stalkers actually. Ooh. A little bit of Lee Zealous there from MaxPax. Losing another Stalker. And again, we're building up. We're building up. MaxPax does have that economic lead. Still rallying in. Oh, does not quite get the Marauder. Not quite. Now from here, where exactly are we? So MaxPax, he does opt to go for the Warp Prism first. This allows him to keep the pressure up. It means that he can move out across the map, he can micro, he can control his units, warp in, and potentially threaten the main base. As Hellions, they go for the dive. Taking 2 shots. One volley goes off. Gets 1, gets 2 probes. Nice retargeting there from Clem. Very nice. And again, this is just buying time. It's buying time. Clem, thankfully, he scouts with this as well, so he sees the Warp Prism. Viking is on the way. Oh, MaxPax locks in the Hellion. Nice moves. And we'll see what MaxPax can get done. See what he can get done here. As he's pushing. Tank does siege, Vikings in the main. It's a Marauder. Prism does take a shot to the face. Does take a bit of hull damage. There's only 1 tank. The tank doesn't quite cover the mineral line. Ooh, Viking goes down. I guess the Viking. Oof. A bit of mission control there from MaxPax. We'll take 1 extra shot to the face. He still does get an SCV. Again, still very tense. With that, Clem is stuck at home. MaxPax, of course, he has eyes on this. Making sure he sees any kind of move out. And Clem, who'll be stuck at home until he finishes Stim. Once Stim finishes, then he can move out. So staying back home, we do see MaxPax likewise stay on 2 bases, taking his gases and taking up into Storm, still on 2 bases as well. You can argue that this is maybe a little bit overly defensive. Basically, MaxPax, he's heavily delaying his own 3rd base. He's delaying his 3rd base, but it does seem like Clem isn't pushing soon, so he would have had the opportunity to expand earlier. Now what this means, though, is that Storm is going to be done insanely fast. Storm is going to be prioritized. Storm is on the way. And should be ready in time for the push. I say that, actually Clem going for an earlier move out. Bleeds out a lot of Marines. Yeah, well, 6 Marines going down. Was not quite worth it. Stim is still not yet done, and Clem is expanding. So he's not going for an all-in. A 3rd CC is on the way. Does find the Warp Prism. Not bad. Prism goes down. There's no backstab. Once again, though, the goal for MaxPax is to get eyes on the move out and to delay the push. Observer spots the army. Storm is about to finish. As Clem does notice, here comes a move out. MaxPax will delay. Does force a stim. So he gets 1 Marine, does force a stim. Oh, gets a 2nd Marine. How many High Templar? 4. Jesus. It's going to be 3 Marine kills. We'll lose 1 Stalker. High Templar have arrived. Nice pre-siege here from Clem. He's ready. At the same time, MaxPax going for a counterattack. I mean, with Storms, MaxPax can just buy time. He can just buy time. A lot of Winter Mines clumped up. Storm on the Winter Mines. Oh my god. They have to get out of here. Nice pickup. Does save them. Zell save busts into the main. SCVs are going down. Winter Mines. Oof. Yeah, 1 shot goes off. 1 High Templar goes down. Nice target crying out of Clem. But SCVs are falling. This is getting out of hand here. 7, 8 SCVs going down. Getting to 10. 10 SCV kills, massive storm on the Marines. And the tanks will fall. Yeah, it takes out all the tanks. I've only had one more storm. Clem takes out the Immortal. Yeah, he takes the fight. Yeah, messy defense here from MaxPax. As we mentioned, the high tempo were clumped. A lot of tempo went down early. And Clem expands. So we have a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, MaxPax, he survives, true, but he also bled out a lot of units, and now Clem has established his third base. I will say that Clem, he's ahead economically. He's on full 3-base saturation, and MaxPax, he's missing his fourth. His fourth base is very late. So there's a lot of pressure on MaxPax before he gets outscaled. You can see the supply disparity getting larger as Clem is able to afford more. Now, what does MaxPax have? Storm. How many? 4. 4 Eye Templar. Going to be at least 4 storms. We'll see if we can break through. Once the pressure is on. Oh. Storm zones. Dives into the mineral line. Liberator goes down. But no major storms on the army. Liberator survived. Wait, what? Oh, it's on 1 HP. The 1 HP Liberator. Let's go. Oh, miss rally. The Mortal's thrown away. And Clem holds. And you can see Clem now with a 40 supply lead. As we mentioned before, MaxPax, there was a lot of pressure on him to try to break Clem then and there. He failed to do so as he falls further behind. As we mentioned, after the aggression subsided, Clem, he had the superior economy. And that translates into this larger army. Just took a little bit to kick in. Colossus production has begun. That will help, but Clem is pushing first. Okay, there's 6 Templar. There's a lot of storm potential, that is true, but at the same time, there's a lot of EMP potential as well for Clem. Okay, massive counterattack. MaxPax dropping into the main. Clem does have an army. He's ready. He reacts. Oh, and the Prism gets sniped. Yeah, brutal snipe. Zells hit the 4th base. MaxPax's 4th base is on par with the Terrans. That is brutal. So Clem, he maintains his lead. He maintains his momentum. But at least MaxPax has the first Colossus, and he's got 2 more on the way. So he's slowly building up his Colossus count. MaxPax is slowly trying to recover. I say trying to recover because, again, this army is still very vulnerable. It's a very small army, very vulnerable. If Clem pushed with everything, I believe he would break MaxPax, but Clem, he's adverse to pushing out at the moment. He's still staying back at home, securing his bases. Now we do see a split push. Clem is about to max. We got to make use of that army. MaxPax, meanwhile, is getting cannons, getting shield batteries. He's building up his defense. And Clem is getting a fit CC. Yeah, so he's choosing to be more passive, more defensive. This is something that Clem has spoken on recently, how I guess it's similar to Beyond. Beyond is more extreme when it comes to how defensive he is. But in recent times, Clem has been a little bit less, or he's been more deterred from actually like pushing out and being aggressive once we get into a longer game. Clem does max out, taking it to Liberators. The rationale for this is because Clem spoke on how it's easier to take a bad fight. It's to like have like a 20, 30, 40 supply lead, have a bad fight against Storm and Colossus, and then lose your lead. So here, technically, it's not a wrong thing to do, but he's like getting a 5th base, getting a 6th base, turtling up back at home, taking up into Liberators, refining and perfecting his army. Nice EMP. EMP goes off, Colossus are exposed. As MaxPax is buying time with the storms. Clem still has the advantage, gets one Colossus, gets one. One kites back, nice EMP on the High Templar. Templar that were clumped. Another Colossus falls. Guess who? There's one Colossus left. Oh no, it also went down. Every Colossus falls. No more storms. Oh sorry, there's one flanking storm coming in. Does land. But Max actually just doesn't have enough. In the end, Clem here overwhelms. GG. Clemmy breaks the main army, and Clem will take a 1-0 lead. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Clem, I mean, both players were aggressive in their own way here this game. Clem did have a massive advantage after his push failed. What did he achieve, though? He was containing MaxPax on 3 bases. As we were emphasizing, Clem, he had the superior economy. He was able to get his 3rd base and his 4th base at a very nice time, and MaxPax was a little bit later to take his own expansions. He had a later army as a result, smaller army. GG. GG, well played. Clem was able to overwhelm. And thankfully, he didn't kind of miss his window of opportunity either. I was a little bit concerned that he was going to turtle on 5 bases, was getting a 5th and 6th, but thankfully, once he maxed, he did start to push out. Did start to move out. That's the difference between Clem and Bjorn. That's because Clem wouldn't, sorry, Bjorn would not push. No. Not like this. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Psystorm. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player. We have the red Terran for Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. See in chat, is there a Big Store tomorrow? There should be. That should be Big Store Cup tomorrow. We should be there to cover it as well. It's going to be a lot later in the day, right? Yeah, it's much later in the day. I mean, I guess that helps. It means we get to sleep a little bit more. But it also means we have less time before the next cast. No. We'll do our best. So now we're going to be opening up. We do have our just standard opening here by MaxPax, and likewise Clem going for a rack expand. Economic start out of our Terran, no double gas. No double gas here, so economic opener out of our Terran player, going for a CC on the low ground. This time MaxPax is not proxy. Remember last game, MaxPax did go for a proxy gateway to delay the CC and get damage done early on. We had a much more aggressive start out of MaxPax. And he wasn't doing too poorly. He was able to delay the CC, get his own natural up and running. Wasn't bad. But then Clem was able to build up into the follow-up. We also saw MaxPax, he delayed his own 3rd base intentionally to get Storm. That was a lot that came into play. But now that we're calming down, and welcome to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, more defensive map as well. We often see longer and later games on Tokamak. Oh. Clem pokes in, denies some mining. Will not kill a probe. Doesn't get a worker kill, but he does barely pull away on 1 HP. Does pull out. And of course, MaxPax is taking up into Blink. So Twilight Council into Blink. Back at home, Clem is getting to his own 1/1/1. Takes down the Adept. Nice trades here from Clem. And we are not going for an add-on swap. Okay. So opening up Reactor and Marine into early tank production. My attention. So very fast tanks. A tech lab on the starboard as well. Not going for medevacs, not going for drops. We'll see how hard he does commit. As it's going to be a Raven, not Banshee. Okay. Ravens, will they will allow for harass, specifically for auto tart harass. What I'm most curious by though is the early tank production, so we're building up more tanks. And Clem, will see if he does invest into a 3rd tank after the 2nd. Nice run, Clem. Is this 2-gate? Yep, 2-gate blink. So 2-gate blink into a 3rd base. If you remember, this is the same build that MaxPax is going for that Creator went for on Last Fantasy. Would it criticize Creator because Last Fantasy is a more aggressive map and he didn't scout his opponent either, so it was very risky for Creator to go for, and Creator was punished for it. Here, it makes more sense on Tokamak. We mentioned this is a larger map, more defensive map as well, so cutting corners makes a lot more sense on Tokamak. So MaxPax, he should get away with this. Meanwhile, Clem is getting the eBay for +1. Does go for the add-on swap and is taking into Stim. So Clem is not going for an early push. As you can see here, he does not make a 3rd tank either, so only 2 tanks to set up defensively and then building up into his bio composition. So we have a very tame game here on Tokamak, with MaxPax being more economic and with Clem likewise just building up. Observer gets caught, so 3rd CC's on the way. Again, we're building up into the mid game. We're calming things down. Again, as I mentioned before, there's a higher chance that we just get into like a 3, 4, 5 base saturation. We got the Bay on the way for Colossus after the 3rd base. Has nice sniper on the Stalkers. Takes on the Raven, but at a cost. We'll bleed out 2. 2 Stalkers do go down, and Clem will expand. But again, at least Max was able to snipe that Raven. Prism in towards the main. Clem is still pulling back. From here, MaxPax getting his own 4th base. The goal here should just be to buy time. Just to buy time, just to keep eyes and keep tabs on Clem. You don't want to go in too soon with this Prism. Ideally, you want to move over the Prism when Clem moves out. For a backstab. So just lying in wait. Meanwhile, Clem is taking his gases at his 3rd base. Taking up into his Ghost Academy. We're settling in, Pat. We're settling in. Settling in, we're turtling up. This should lead into a 4th base. into a max out. At this point, Clem most likely will not push until said max out. And there it is, 4th CC. MaxPax, he should not try to push into this. Pushing into a siege up position is going to be brutal. And instead should just be taking. Okay, Max is getting his 5th. Get base on the way. MaxPax does slip into the main. Bold move. Army's in position. The Warpin will finish though. Yeah, the Warpin will complete. MaxPax moving up the ramp, but he'll run into the tanks. I believe kills 1 tank on the high ground. Zelsa get a second. Okay, let's go. Nice flank. Very nice flank here. That's going to be 4 tanks going down. So better trades here for MaxPax, and Clem suddenly is vulnerable. With 4 tanks falling, now MaxPax, he can just keep warping in, and he can try to break this position even. Suddenly, the defensive setup here for Clem is less imposing. It's less impressive. Uh-oh. War Prism did survive. And Clem is in trouble. Yeah, but now just causing a distraction. MaxPax moves in, pulls away at the same time. Prism, ooh, gets sniped. Nice scan. Does get in time. Clem defends the main base. Likewise, he defends the front lines as well. 1 tank does go down. Another tank falls. MaxPax was just posturing. Poking in. And we'll see if MaxPax can break the 4th. So, on the one hand, yes, he's killed a bunch of tanks, but that may not matter here. Clem is rebuilding, he's remaxing, he's getting a 4th base up and running. Breaking a 4-basing player here on Tokamak is very difficult. The 5th is when the Terran player starts to spread a little bit thin. But even then, they should be moving their army with their new expansion. MaxPax once again going for the run by, going for the drop. A little bit surprised we haven't gotten turrets here in the main, as this is what the 3rd or 4th time that the Prism has come in. Gets into the main base. And does try to go for the Warpin as well. Going for the ETs. MaxPax rotating up the ramp. EMPs do connect. But there's not many Vikings. And not many Vikings here. Colossus, they do spend some of their DPS on the buildings. As Zelts go down. Colossus, they're on their own. But MaxPax, he gets into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Massive pickups. He has to get out of here though. The main army. We'll lose a Colossus. We'll lose 1, 2. He's going to lose every Colossus. He overextends. Big overextension. MaxPax should not have been here. The Zealot runway was solid. But the Colossus, he lost every single one. And MaxPax, he plummets in supply. Yeah, he throws away his army. And Clem is about to max. He's about to max out. And once he does, he can push. And there's just not much at home for MaxPax. Magic Worker seems like too much. Well, it would be fine if we didn't lose a Colossus. So I should wind it back a little bit here. What MaxPax is going for, the style that he's going for, is that ideally you build up your initial Colossus, your initial like core army units, and you never lose them, right? And what do you do? you replace them with you replace your army. You replenish your army with purely zealots. That's why MaxPax is 92, 94 workers. That's why he has mass expansions. That's why he has mass mineral income. He has 1,000 minerals in the bank. Because ideally, you go in, you lose your zealots, you back off, and you replenish and you replace your zealots, and you just keep trading like that. Unfortunately, he lost 4 colossus. Like, unfortunately, MaxPax lost all the colossus, so he did overextend. That was a big misstep, and that does slow him down. Meanwhile, drop into the main base. Clem, he will defend. So the purpose of this style is to have a boosted mineral income so that you can keep trading, right? You can just go in, trade out your zealots, back off, go for a massive warp in, and just keep trading. And just keep the pressure up. EMP does connect, getting into the first tank. Tank does fall. Storms are coming in as well. Speaking of warp-ins, there we go. Massive Zealot warp-in into the main. EMPs are solid. The main army has to back up. As MaxPax pulls away, he does get on top of the production though. And oh, the warp-in is denied. Nice defense there by Clem. Denies the warp-in. Loses CC. And again, MaxPax is playing with fire with this army. Like, he cannot attack, he cannot push in, he has no intention to. He just has to make sure he doesn't get caught. Just don't lose your core army. He rotates in, does take down the tank. Tank goes down. There's the army out of position. Clem now rotating. Lands EMP. The Prism has joined the army. Prism has arrived. Still no turrets in the main, by the way. Prism's going back in. Oh, ghosts are exposed. Jesus. Has to calm down. Ghosts are getting quite low. As Max actually will lose one of the Colossus. Prism gets in once again. And we're going for the warp in. Another Colossus falls. So Max actually does punish. Does catch a couple of ghosts. Flanking storms as well. Now just zoning away. Massive storm on the army. Yeah, storms are connecting. The army's getting low. And the zealots are being cleaned up. Does kill the starports though. I believe that was both. Yes, both starports went down. 0 starport production out of Clem. Ay, ay, ay. No liberators. No more Vikings. Colossus are coming. As the Prism goes back in, more zealots, more warp-ins. Once again, harassing into the main base. Does move in. MaxPax still has to be careful, so has to make sure he doesn't overcommit. Please not more Templar. Where are the Colossus? They're still coming. That's what we're desperately trying to rebuild the starports of the natural. Yo, let's go. Planetary's on the way next to the Nexus. The Planetary's coming. Here come the Colossi, and there's 4 Vikings. Again, the starport production has been hindered quite heavily. Only 4 Vikings. And now the Colossus can reign supreme. They can move in. Massive swipes going up. Oh my god. Yeah, the Marines, they just melt. They crumble. And MaxPax is doing it. He's breaking through. Nice snipe on the Liberator. More storms coming in. Oh my god. Yeah, massive storms. Do we have one more? Yeah, one final storm. And it's still so very close here. Clem, he barely cleans up the army. Just barely. Did cost him everything though. And remember, MaxPax, he has a greater economy. He has all these bases. He's still rebuilding. Still rebuilding. Oh, the zealots. MaxPax, he instantly remaxes. Nice EMPs. Oof. Storm lands. Storm does land, gets into the mineral land as well. 5 SCV kills. And Clem is struggling. Like Clem, again, the one kill move that MaxPax had was sniping those 2 starports in the main. That was huge. That allowed him to eventually break the triangular third base. Led into this game state. Slows momentum. They're rushing in. Let's rush in. Down to 2 Colossus, down to 1. Colossus barely goes down as well. Shout out to the herO Vikings. Clem, he's holding. He's barely holding on, but Warpins into the main. They continue. The Warpins continue back. As Zealous into the forward base. More SCVs going down. And again, we're looking to tie the series up. After the earlier losses, Clem, he just can't max. He cannot max out. He doesn't have the economy for it. He's been trading too much of his army as well. He goes. Nice EMPs. EMPs have been solid. He needs more time. There's still more Warpins into the main. The Warpins back. You can go for the Academy even. But not just trying to catch reinforcements. Academy will survive. Ooh, nice. Oh my god, he sends in the storms. Yeah, crazy storm. Prism finally goes down. Last Clem, he was otherwise distracted. MaxPax rotates. Push into the Protoss. We have a backup War Prism already. Oh no. Academy goes down. So no more Ghost production. As the Academy is being rebuilt. Down goes the CC. Again, eventually through that battle of attrition here, then we should just be broken. He has built up a decent amount of liberators though. That's a lot of freedom. It's a lot of liberation. If he can set up, he can take a good fight. True. As Clem has been perfecting his army. Finally, what do we see out of MaxPax? I believe we just saw a Stargate. I'm getting ready for Sky Toss. At least he's thinking about it. Yeah, there are so many Liberators. We bring this up all the time. When the Terran player hits critical mass of Liberator like this, you need Tempest. And there we go. Fleet Beacons on the way. Tempest on the horizon. But MaxPax, he wasn't really ready for a Tempest switch, so these are late. So late Stargates, late Fleet Beacon. Clem, he can stabilize. Guess how many? He has 9 Liberators so far, about to be 10. 10 Liberators. Where's the Sky Toss? And Max is getting a little bit desperate. Let's get 1. Let's get 2. Not very nice storm. Oh my god. The Liberators, they stack on the storm. Oh my god. We had 10 down to 5. Down to 5 Liberators. Ay, ay, ay. Five Liberators at full. Clem taking another expansion, but it's not a fresh base. Bear that in mind. Close to move back in, and here we go. The Tempests are coming. MaxPax is almost there. He needs those Tempest. Max is getting another base. Center left is also a base that is still untouched. And MaxPax should take it. Go, let's go. Oh my god. That's with High Templar. Cheeky moves here by Clem. Moving in, does chase, does get one of the Colossus. And Max actually have to kite away. He can't fight head on. He cannot fight head on here. Tempest goes down. Clem, he's going for the production. Came with the Stargates. Yeah, he breaks out. He breaks out. Gets another Tempest. Gets a Colossus as well. Stargates, they will fall. The Tempest switch is not happening. It's not happening, man. Really unfortunate that MaxPax chose to get the Stargates here. They're exposed and they are going down. And GG gets called. Clem, he snowballs out of control. He breaks MaxPax, and Clem will take a 2-0 lead. Whew, GG. Aye. GG, well played. Again, MaxPax did have a massive lead, a massive advantage. He was trading well for himself, but as we did point out, he had a late switch into Tempest, a late switch into Stargates. He had a late realization that Clem was stabilizing with Mass Liberator, so he was late to switch up, and also unfortunate as well, as you saw that he had exposed Stargates as well. So eventually, Clem was able to camp that production, break out, and end the game. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, the tenacity there out of Clem, very tenacious, able to hold on. Not just the fact that he was able to break out, but also the fact he was able to take a fresh base, quote unquote fresh base, take the base on the right hand side, so he was still able to sustain himself, able to maintain his army. GG, well played. Whew, aye. I think Clem can win now with his lips. Yes. As we did try to emphasize, like, the Liberators were a big power spike for Clem, and it was on MaxPax to be ready for that power spike, but he wasn't. MaxPax, he was maybe a little bit either overconfident or just tunnel visioning a little bit too much with more of like a mid to late game setup when it came to like the Mass Zealous and the Mass Gateway and the Mass Warpins and that hyper aggressive style, which can work really well and can kill, but again, it does kind of lose its bite and lose its edge once there are too many Liberators. GG, well played. And now we're getting into game 3, potentially the final game of the series. Clem is up 2-0, and Clem needs one more to claim it here and now. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the red Terran, the French Terran, for Team Liquid. It is Clem. And losing that last game as well must be a little bit demoralizing here for MaxPax. Again, he had a massive lead, a massive advantage. He had, I should say, he had momentum, right? He had momentum, he had map control. he was doing damage, getting into bases, sniping tech. There was a big moment, of course, when he sniped the starports and he was able to break the third base as well. It's a really nice moments. But again, he wasn't really ready to transition into that Stargate, into that Sky Toss. That did get him killed. Did get him killed. Now we're getting to game 3. Here we do have a more economic start at a Clem once again. So going Rax Expand, a bold move on Ultra Love. Welcome to Ultra Love. Ultra Love is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. One of the more aggressive maps, I should say. We have seen a lot of aggressive builds and all-ins. We have seen some diverse play here on Ultra Love. We'll see what Clem goes for. From here we're settling in. Once again, Twilight Counts are open at a MaxPax. When it comes to Ultra Love, this is a map where it is more difficult to play that turtle heavy style. I should emphasize that when we spoke about it at the beginning of Tokamak. Tokamak is the most defensive map in the map pool, so we had a much more passive early to mid game. But here, coming into Ultra Love, there's a little more aggressive potential for Clem. Again, it's just very map dependent. Oh, when SCV goes down. Nice snipe at a MaxPax. Gets one. Does get one. Clem getting into zone 1-1-1. Oh. And we'll see where this leads us. As he does open up with a Wooden Mine drop. Okay. I do appreciate that Clem has done something different every game so far. Going for a different opener, going for a different build. With this opening up Widow Mine, and we'll see what the follow-up is going to be. Likewise, MaxPax. We should be seeing a bit of a safer build out of him. Last game we saw 2 Gaplink, this time we're getting to 3. So 3 Gaplink Stalker and a Robo on 2 bases, very safe play here by MaxPax. It is not uncommon to see gases taken as well, and even going into earlier Storm, so we'll see if he takes his gases or if he does take a 3rd base. Gets one. We'll take his 3rd gas geyser. Hellion does try to slip in. Oh. Confirms some of the gases. Likewise gets eyes on the Robo as well. Doesn't confirm the gateway counts. So Mindrill gets in. Ooh. Gets a probe. Gets a probe. Gets a stalker. Not bad. Couple of key pickups, and we are indeed taking all 4 gases. So all 4 gases on 2 bases. So we're delaying the 3rd even further. Delay 3rd base at a MaxPax. He is moving out. Applying some pressure. Tanks are ready. So ready. Ooh, blinks in, takes down the medevac. Nice snipe on the medevac at least. Takes down the medevac, pulls away. At the same time, MaxPax finally getting his own 3rd base. I assumed it was going to be a Templar Archives before 3rd, but it's slightly after. Regardless, working towards Storm. And he finds no tank, but he does find 2 bunkers. It's just buying time. Tank does reposition. And Clem holds. But he does hold on. He holds, he defends, and he's going to be stuck at home until Sim finishes. When Sim is done, they can break out. Until then, Clem is contained. Yes, again, the goal here for MaxPax is just contain. Back at home, I mean, he's had a bit of a later third base, working towards Storm. Oh, does not get the Raven. And Clem, he will eventually break out. Eventually take his third base. Getting there. MaxPax, he hasn't actually seen the third, so for all MaxPax knows, this could be a 2-base all-in anyway. So he's still playing it safe, still playing close to the chest. Now he takes the 4th base. 4th is on the way. And once again, he's ready for the backstab. Oh, we've seen this before. He's ready with the War Prism. Last game, we saw this Prism do so much damage in the main. You see Clem is in position. He's got his Viking. Storm is done. Third base is going to be denied. Decent storms. Mainly zoning. Third base is going to be denied here. Behind this, working towards Colossus. Bay is on the way. And the Prism gets into the main. Clem is ready for it, though. Shuts down the Zealots. Clem, he takes the linear third base instead. Let's take the linear third. It's actually rotating over. Tanks are ready. Max actually ready for the run by. Once again, he's just trying to cause a distraction. He should have no intention to push into these tanks. Oh, may find one on the low ground though. Yeah, tries to storm. Gets into a 1. Decent storm on the right hand side. 1, 2 tanks go down, but Clem will hold. And Clem, he will hold on at the same time. Prism into the main. A little bit late. Gets the warp in. But shouldn't get much done here. It takes down 3 SCVs, and Clem holds. And that was an overextension. Like MaxPax pushing in between the bases. Did get a couple of tanks, but bled out a lot of units as well. That was what, 30 Zealots, High Templar and Archon. Not too many key units went down, thankfully. And MaxPax is forced back. He's forced back home. Now expanding, getting a 4th base. Sorry, getting a 5th. Clem, he's weathered the storm. And it looks like once again we're just going to be a little bit more defensive here. Getting a 4th base, rebuilding his defensive position. Yeah, he's just walling up. He's walling up here. Bunkers, depots, sensor tower as well. Clem is hoping that MaxPax pushes again. He's hoping. This time we have one turret. Let's go. We have one turret in the main this time. That is better than nothing. Better than last game. So the turret has got the fire. MaxPax will be the first to max out, getting a 6th expansion. And MaxPax, he shouldn't push in until we see a 4th base taken. Speaking of, here comes a 4th. Army's exposed, dives on in, catching on one of the ghosts, getting on top of the tank as well. Very nice engage here by MaxPax. Takes down 3 tanks and pulls away. Here he pulls back, consolidates his army, brings him into the main base for shut down. And this is all that MaxPax needs to do. Just pull back, reinforce, and keep engaging here whenever Clem is at his weakest. Now Clem is down to 1 defensive tank. Nice CMPs. Nice side of the Archons. Then he pulls back to the tank. Army gets zoned away. MaxPax going to get into the mineral line. Oh, not quite. It doesn't quite get in. MaxPax pushing further. Does get some decent storms. Oh my god. Get some decent storms. And he's just going to keep going. And MaxPax, he commits in. He wants to go for the kill. And he breaks through the tank. Boys are being pulled. Yeah, there is an opening. Takes down the tank. Pushing into the natural. Master repair of the bunker. But of course, they get so much done in the back line. And MaxPax looks like he has done it. Whew. Yeah, GG gets called. He breaks through, and MaxPax puts a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, MaxPax, he did wait until Clem took his 4th base, and you saw once he took his 4th, he spread himself thin, right? There was an opening. We saw that tanks were caught on siege. The army was rotating between the 3rd and the 4th base, and MaxPax took a very strong fight. From there, I assumed he was just going to back off and just keep going for those like pickoffs whenever he could, but no, he just warped in, committed, kept on pushing. As we saw, there was only 1 tank left on the high ground. GG. GG, well played. MaxPax does overwhelm, and with that, we're getting to game number 4. GG. And again, as we tried to mention at the start of this, Ultralove is a much more vulnerable map compared to, say, Tokamak, so easier to push in like that, easier to break a defending player. And now we're loading into ley lines. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the Danish Protoss player, we have the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. Putting a point on the board and fighting back in the series, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player, the Red Terran for Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. Now we're loading into ley lines. Ley lines, I would say, is a more defensive map compared to Ultralove. It is slightly, I would say, slightly more defensive. We do have our high ground set up here. We do have, I bet, a little bit easier rotations between the bases as well. We'll see if Clem can be more successful being more defensive here on ley lines. I mean, there are some pros, there are some cons. You have the backwards base, for example, which can be very difficult to take, especially against Colossus and Storm on the low ground. So that's another factor, of course. As you expand and expand further out, you do spread yourself further thin. We'll see. We'll see if Clem is going to play more defensive again. But now double gas. Okay, double gas opener. Looks like a much more aggressive build. The last 2 games on both Ultralove and Tokamak, we had Clem going for more economic starts. Not this time, though. Not this time. go. As again, we have that faster factory setup, CC on the high ground, and Clem playing safe, at least with the CC build, well, CC location. And we'll see if Clem goes for early tank production. Alright, so going to be on Clem. Does go initially Reaper Hellion, Stargate open out of MaxPax. Okay, for the first time, he does change up his tech. We've been seeing a lot of Twilight Council play, which is standard, but this time we're going for a Stargate. Now, usually we see Stargate play on maps like Torches, or on some of the larger maps as well. I would say this is risky. The downside of going for a Stargate opener, of course, is you are vulnerable to all-ins. When it comes to two-base all-ins, they can hit very, very hard. They can break through. They can punish Stargate play if Clem can scout. That's the big question, though. We'll see if Clem can get a read what's going on early on. But now it's going Reactor Reaper Hellion. We're going to move out. The goal here is for early economic damage. And it'll be Phoenix first. And you can see he's banking up those Phoenixes. Hoping for it to be a surprise. Phoenixes, they can be good to gain map control, that is true. Specifically when it comes to denying drop play, shutting down Banshees, for example, Ravens, drops themselves. But against committed pushes, that's where they can struggle. Reapers, they poke in. They poke in. Hellions, they try to support. It's a bit of an awkward engage there from Clem. As MaxPax does fully wall off. So far, Phoenixes have not been revealed. And here comes the early push. I'm curious if Clem has gotten a read on what's happening here. Regardless, I mean, with the double gas opening, he was always going for a more aggressive build. Here he comes. Here comes Clem. Does he have enough anti-air, though? He's going to be reinforcing with tanks, with Vikings, so he's going to be rallying everything across the map. There's going to be two, soon to be three Phoenixes to defend. Army gets spotted. And Clem pulls back. Pulls back. He needs more anti-air. Yeah, this early on with only 4 Marines. Cannot push. So by getting 1 SCV. And we'll see when Clem does decide to move out. Okay, he's slowly building up, getting another pair of Raxes. So far, MaxPax has 4, soon to be 5 Phoenixes. And he's backing off. He's backing off. Turtling up. Stim is going to be on the way, and Clem, it looks like he's going to stay at home until he gets into Stim. Meanwhile, we do see MaxPax not going Phoenix Colossus, going Phoenix into Charge and into Storm. Okay. And again, MaxPax is getting map control. The initial move out, the initial build of choice from Clem did fall on its face. I would say Clem is now in a worse position, as he otherwise could have had a more greedy and economic start. But at least he retains the army, which is important, right? Like, he's retained all of his tanks. He retained his medevacs. Didn't really lose much. Oh, and are we just going to turtle? Okay, going for a 3rd CC. So Clem is relinquishing map control. Getting into a longer game. Goes in, scouts the High Templar, sees it's going to be Storm. Oof, probes lining up. Oh my god! Yeah, probes do line up. That's going to be 7 probes going down. I get 9 probe kills. Oh my god. Getting up to 10. That should not have happened. 10 probes go down to 2 Hellions and 1 Reaper. Brutal damage. Likewise, we've built up to 4 Vikings. Gets a Phoenix. So Clem is expanding. MaxPax is moving out. Clem, he's already aware of Storm, of course. He's getting ready for the engage. Shots are connecting. Looks like one tank may go down. That's focus firing. The Storm does run away the Marines. Ooh, that's still gonna be brutal. Tank shots. 2 High Templar go down. Yeah, that was 2 Templar falling. Better fight, better trade for Clem. Has to reposition that tank. And we're just going to build up. We're just building up on 3 bases. Clem, he will be more defensive here. So Templar moving in. The tanks are a little bit far back. So I'll say something to the natural. Oof. Storm does graze the army. And a Storm towards the end. Oh my god. Storms are brutal. Marines, they get shut down. And Clem, he is turtling up. So 4 CCs on the way. We should be seeing sensor towers, more depots. SimCity here is lacking. So should be looking to wall up. And it's going to be on MaxPax to once again, just like last game, wait for Clem to take a 4th base. That should be the ideal, is just wait for Clem to expose himself, to spread himself thin on 4 expansions. That's when MaxPax was able to catch Clem transferring over and rotating his army. That was on Ultra Love. Celotrop is ready. No turrets in the main. On the depots. Now rolling up. MaxPax making 2 Colossus at a time. Clem, he does sneak out with his Marines, and he may find the proxy. Does find it. Same time soldiers move in. They barely get the Liberator. Not bad. Oof. Shop is cleaned up. And in my mind, similar to on Tokamak, the goal should be for Clem to just turtle, max out, build up into Liberators, refine his army. MaxPax has been taking more gases, so he's not going for this like heavy Zealot army that we went for on Tokamak. Incorporating more Colossus, High Templar, Storm. It's more tech heavy. Oh, and that is going to be a much earlier +1 air attack and an earlier switch into Tempest. Okay, so MaxPax, he has recognized what Clem is doing. He sees all the sensor towers. He sees how turtle heavy Clem is, and we see a much faster switch into Tempest. So I'm liking this out of MaxPax. Now the goal should be to contain. To still contain the Terran player, to make sure he freely and safely gets into Tempest production. We're getting there. Now, what is scary about this game compared to Tokamak is that unlike on Tokamak, where MaxPax was hyper aggressive and constantly trading and keeping Clem's supply low, because we had no engagements here, Clem is maxed, which means he could move out before Tempest arrive. So there's a window in time here where Clem can try to break out. Let's see if he does. There's a fusion core that's going to be for his liberators. Oh, and MaxPax, he's going carrier. Oh, okay. Bold move. So carriers are better against a more like standard bio-heavy composition like this. Tempest, they're better, they're more efficient against more of a siege-based army, so a more heavy liberator-based composition. The problem, of course, is that Tempest do scale better into a longer game. Carriers don't. So you don't want to be stuck on carrier, is the scary thing. Like there's a bit of an expiration date on carriers. As Clem is moving out, eyeing for map control. Snipers are just posturing, carriers are slowly building up, and hey, we're about to have 6. So far, Clem has no idea. Storm does try to zone. Oh! Once again, just buying time. Still holding onto those carriers. Really patient play here by MaxPax. Just keep them hidden. Wants to make sure they're as impactful as possible. As their carriers, they have arrived.
Mineral field depleted.
They reveal themselves. Clem knows. Clem is making Vikings. Yeah, another starport's on the way as well. He's up to only 9 Vikings. Has the guy back. Carriers are pushing through. Oh. And he's making 6 Vikings at jeez, 6 Vikings at a time. Again, he needs those Vikings. Throws down a wall of turrets as well. Are they ready in time though? MaxPax is moving in. Wants to go for the kill. Wants to go for the kill here. Working on +2. Still on 7 carriers. Clem is ready. How many Vikings? Jesus. 14. 14 Vikings. Oh. EMP does graze the army. Interceptors going down. Again, MaxPax has to be so careful with this army. So carriers, they can be vulnerable. He's out the interceptors. We need those storms. Double goes down. First storm does land. MaxPax is avoiding those liberators. Sorry, there's Tempest, I meant to say. It's avoiding any kind of Tempest. It's going to be heavily reliant on those storms. Nice counter-attack with Marauders. Nice use of them as well. Patching out the High Templar. Boys are being pulled. MaxPax is moving in. There are so many. Wait, how many ghosts are there? 16. 16 ghosts, 17 Vikings. Yeah, Clemmy's fine. That means perfectly fine. He has so many EMPs available. High ground storm. This will be 16 probes going down across the map. MaxPax is not gaining any ground. Drop into the main base. Kills the Stargate, denies information. And now we start Tempest. That will help. There's only going to be 3. As MaxPax is causing a distraction. Again, his goal here should still be to try to break one of these bases and try to find Clem out of position. Jesus, there's so many Vikings. This is also where storms are crucial to zone away the Vikings. Otherwise, they will just go to town on the Sky Toss. Oh, juicy storm. Sorry, juicy EMP. EMP connects. Covers almost everything. Losses go down. Vikings get a carrier as well. Down to 4 carriers. And Clem has just been out trading. Just been out trading. Quite some time now. Nice EMPs. Hunting with a high tempo. Oh, this time we will not get it. And MaxPax going back in the carrier? Okay. Not too convinced. Liberation is arriving. Tempest. Again, there are just so many Vikings. 23. 23 Vikings. Oh my god. Gets another carrier. SCMPs. Yeah, carriers are being one-shots. Colossus as well. I see they're just dragging the army within range of the Liberators. Snaps the Archon. And Max actually being bullied back. EMPs that cover the Stalkers. A massive storm. Okay. Can we land another? We need another storm. Oh my god. And it goes that being pulled back. The lesser loader is falling. Down to 10. Where's the anti-air? Yeah, where's the anti-air? Here's Vikings. They sniped 2 more carriers. I believe that's almost every carrier going down. There's 1 left. And you can see MaxPax plummeted in supply. As you mentioned, like carriers, they don't scale well into a longer game. So I was surprised to see more carriers in production. MaxPax was just stuck on carrier. Likewise, only 2 High Templar. The carriers, they did nothing. 1 more volley. What a mass. Gets the Mothership. And Mothership goes down. This should be the final push here from MaxPax. He's doing what he can. And he should lose all of his Skytos army. Yeah, that's a 110 as GG gets called. MaxPax will lose everything, and Clem will take the series 3-1, becoming this week's WardiTV Monday champion. GG. GG, well played. We were a little bit concerned that MaxPax would be baited and stuck on Mass Carrier, and that is what happened. Again, the carries, they don't really scale well into a longer game against a Mass Sky Terran composition of Liberators, of Vikings, of the Mass EMP as well. The difference between like Carrier and Tempest compositions is that Tempest, because of their longer range, and typically you have Tempest alongside and coinciding with Oracles for their Revelation, because they're longer range, you're able to pick away at the army and deter those kind of dives, and pick away at the Vikings or the Ghosts ahead of time to make sure that you're safe, and of course with said Revelations have the wherewithal to pull away if the Terran army ever does try to advance on you as well. It's a bit of a slower style, that's the one downside, and it looks like that MaxPax wanted to avoid that kind of playstyle as well. Going Mass Carrier means that you want to try to break, like you want to try to push in, be more aggressive and try to break your opponent, whereas Tempest is like a slower siege unit where you go in, you get a couple of volleys off, you pull away, go back in. Like there's that slow like dance, that back and forth between like your Tempest army and the Vikings of your opponents, the Viking ghosts of your opponents. It's a lot slower. It's say like Broodlord play like in TBZ. But in the end, he didn't want to go for that. He did want to be more aggressive earlier, and that means that his army, it gets outscaled, right? It has that expiration date that we mentioned, does get outscaled over time. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Clem, as it does claim the series. That does take it here. Again, we did see quite a bit of variety here. Game one, we saw more aggression out of Clem, but then moving forward, we did see this more kind of like slower defensive style, which we have seen rise in popularity in recent weeks. Beyond was always doing it, of course, but now we've seen it become a little bit more mainstream from players like Clem, players like Bunny as well. Bunny's also becoming less aggressive and being more defensive like this, where you're able to just defend, turtle up, and get into a more ideal composition of Sky, Terran, and Ghost to just outscale the Protoss. GG, well played. I will say that I feel a little bit robbed of an ace match. Like I'm still thinking about the game on Tokamak, where MaxPax had a massive advantage, and once again he was also late, and he was also unwilling to switch into Tempest and switch into Skytoss. He was very late to do that there as well, and with that was outscaled. So GG, well played. Did happen a couple of times here, and with that, Clem will claim it. See in chat, Tempest aren't splash damage, right? No, they are single target. The ghost supply thing making late game versus toss comfy again. Yes. Having the excess ghost does help quite a lot with those EMPs. Like we saw non-stop EMPs against the Templar, against the Archons, against the carriers. That is true. That is something that we have noticed as well, of course, is the higher Tempest count. Will Vikings prioritize carriers over interceptors if they are within range, or do you need to manually target? I believe, didn't they recently change that in the patch? They changed the attack priority. Am I crazy? I think previously they would attack the interceptors first, but they changed it now so that they attack the carrier. But that was, I say recently, I think that was like 2 patches ago, right? Like 2 patches ago is when that changed. So relatively recent in the overall grand scheme of StarCraft. Like I think they changed that last year? Question mark. I think it was last year. Oh, there we go. GG, well played. Now the one below the other air units, yeah. But with that, GG, well played. Congratulations here to Clem, and with that, we are going to be wrapping up for our morning broadcast. We still have, of course, plenty more StarCraft throughout the course of the entire week. As you can see here, it's a very busy schedule here for us on the CranKy Ducklings. We just wrapped up with the Tuesday morning broadcast of the WardiTV Monday, and we're going to be live later on tonight at 7 p.m. KST with Sparkling Tunica. Here we go. That is going to be at 9 p.m. AEST. That is going to be in around around 7.5 hours. In around 7.5 hours, we're going to be live with our next cast with the Tuna Cup. Likewise, tomorrow at this hour, we're going to be live with the Pegasus Cup. That's going to be Pegasus Cup. That'll be a live cast, of course. And we have the grand finals of the CranKy Gathers Team League Tournament. That'll be tomorrow evening. We then have the OSC Rising Star Tournament on Thursday. We have the Pondcast Thursday evening. We have more WardiTV Monday replays on Friday. That's going to be this week's WardiTV Monday. We have KSL on Saturday, SDO, more Pegasus Cup, and of course more Tuna Cup as well. A lot of content, a lot of StarCraft, a lot as always, happy as always. A very busy week. This is basically a catch-up week, just because we have a couple of replay casts of the Crank Gatherers event, of Pegasus Cup, and of the WardiTV events as well. So we're going to be catching up this week before settling into a more regular live coverage throughout the course of November. And also, it's a good week to catch up on, just because starting next week, you know what begins? RSL Revival StarCraft League. It will begin next week. We already had the qualifiers, but the group stage begins on the 13th of November. We will not be casting the playoffs, but the group stage, but we will be casting the playoffs of RSL. So that is going to be, again, starting next week on the 13th. What else do we have? We have Stellarfest. True, Stellarfest is this week. That is the big offline event happening in Canada. And we have the Chinese show match tournaments at the end of November on the 29th. Outside of that, we have our regular open cups. As always. Pig's Cup this time without Pig because he's traveling to Canada. Yes, as we mentioned, Stellarfest is an offline event happening in Canada, and Pig alongside Steadfast will be covering that event. True. What channel is Stellarfest casted on? That is a good question. That is a question I do not have the answer to. They might have an agreement to cast on Pig's channel, or they might make their own. So I can't say for certain there. I do think for viewership purposes, it would be good for them to probably host it on Pig's channel, but it's up to the organizer, right? It's up to Stellarfest, whether they use Pig's channel or whether they make their own Twitch channel. Bearing in mind that this is the first event for Stellarfest, it's their first offline event, their first foray into offline StarCraft, so it's a newer endeavor, I should say, for those working on Stellarfest. Wikipedia shows Steadfast as the mainstream. Oh, there you go. So potentially they might use Steadfast's channel. That will benefit a lot. But we'll see. Orsa TV Esports. Oh, okay. If they have Steadfast on Wikipedia, he might be the B stream or a side stream. We'll see how they kind of like bring it all together. We shall see. But yeah, I would say just check TL, right? Whenever the event goes live, TL, they should have the updated stream. Should have it there. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we're going to be live tonight with some Tuna Cup and tomorrow with Pegasus Cup as well. So plenty of StarCraft throughout the course of the week. If you want to support us, you can follow us on all the socials, ! Socials in the chat. You can follow us on YouTube. We do upload on YouTube on a daily basis, so plenty of content on YouTube. Likewise, you can follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord as well. We do post whenever we go live. And with that, we're going to be wrapping up for the day. You can also support us on Patreon. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments like Tuna Cup, which is later on tonight, all funded via Patreon. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'm gonna go get some rest. I'm giga tired right now, so I'm gonna go get some rest, but I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft, either tomorrow or later on tonight. Until then, thank you for watching. Ciao, papi, ciao. Thanks for watching. Hasta luego.